kind of cool kids, like Giuseppe Andrews, and I don't know, but they added this level of authenticity to it, which I really dug. And I don't know, I thought it was kind of neat.
I liked also that these kids, they looked like kids from, your high school, or you were one of these kids. I mean, I had a Kiss Army shirt in 1999, but these guys also, they were not like in their 30s. They were also around that age. James DeBello was 19, Giuseppe Andrews was 20, Edward Furlong, as I said, was 22, and then Jam, who was Sam Huntington, was 16. He was hot off of doing Jungle to Jungle, if you remember that.
Oh, the Tim Allen picture?
Yeah, I remember that movie very well.
I got kind of annoyed in the commentary when the three older guys were making fun of Sam's mom for not letting him go to a 1999 Marilyn Manson concert on a work night. And I was like, that's not... Listen, parents have done some bonehead things in their lives, but not letting your 16-year-old son go off with three maniacs to a Marilyn Manson concert on a work night, that's not the most egregious of issues, I would say.
I would agree with that, because Marilyn Manson, again, at the time in 1999, he was hot off of Antichrist Superstar. So I can imagine his mom, who may or may not have been hip to it, would know that this is not somebody that she wants her son to be going to see.
Yeah, they really went in on that on the commentary, and I'm like, guys.
I'm just speaking personally here, but I felt that James DeBello was kind of a jerk on the commentary. He overtalked a lot of the times, and he did a lot of like swearing, and I didn't like it at all. I remember in the beginning when they were when the Carl Dupree is talking about the movie and during the credits, and James just overrides him. He's like, starts yelling, and it's like, could you stop?
Yeah. And Giuseppe's all chill.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? I was watching the behind the scene footage for Detroit Rock City, and they gave DeBello a camera, and he was just walking around filming everybody. It looked like a pretty relaxed set. I don't know if you watched that, but he just is walking around with the camera, and everyone seems really chill and having fun. It seems like a good vibe on that set when I watched the movie. I mean, it had a budget, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, it definitely had. It had $34 million, which is adjusted for inflation, $52 million budget. And also a lot of the props came from Gene Simmons's personal collection. So everything was kind of taken care of as far as authenticity and making a Kiss film. So I think that would probably reduce a lot of the stress as well. And considering Gene, as stated in the commentary, and if anybody out there knows Gene Simmons or knows the history of Gene Simmons, he is very good at turning a buck. He's the first one to tell you that. He knows how to do it, and he knows everything to do with making money, especially when it comes with Kiss. So he allowed them to use a lot of authentic things from Kiss, especially for the time period. He didn't say anything about the tickets that are being burned, but according to Gene, he said that he had, quote, thousands of these tickets left.
Wow.
So I'm sure that those were real tickets from the Alive 2 tour, which is the tour that these four guys are trying to go see.
That's neat. That's fun. Yeah. There's 3 commentaries on this DVD. I mean, this is a loaded presentation.
For a movie that was this is the first film to be released on DVD and then VHS. I'd say they definitely set the standards pretty darn high.
So I think this movie probably was released on DVD in what? If this came out in August, they used to be a lot longer, so maybe a January release in 99?
Probably. I'd say probably maybe January, February probably came out.
I remember seeing it everywhere. I remember seeing this movie on almost every shelf. This is when Analyze This was on DVD and everyone was buying it because it was one of the only movies on DVD. And then there was Deep Blue Sea, which I still own and I love. But
I still have my copy too. Yeah.
This was everywhere. I remember seeing this DVD everywhere when it came out. And I mean, the poster art's a lot of fun, and I don't think I bought it, but I remember just watching it and thinking, this is a good little picture. It's fun. But it's...
Yeah.
Now, I do think this suffers from something traditional that happens in a lot of films. The original cut of this was 3 hours. And the director, Adam Rifkin, who was known for writing Mouse Hunt, who wrote Small Soldiers and directed the Charlie Sheen classic, The Chase, he had a 3-hour cut, and he cut it down to an hour and a half, which it does feel at some points a little, not disjointed, but another 10 minutes do you think could have done? Or am I wrong here?
No, I think you're right. I think that we could have used another 10 to 15 minutes. I personally would have liked a little bit more with Lin Shaye, who plays Jam's mother. I would have liked more with her character. I watched the whole disco scene on the highway uncut, which you can watch on the DVD, and I'm okay with that being trimmed down.
Yeah.
Although it is good. They're not lying when they say that in the commentary, that it's great stuff, but it really isn't necessary. It doesn't move the story along. I would like to see a final cut of this movie, which Adam Rifkin, I don't think he's ever going to release because there's no demand for it. They didn't even do a 20th anniversary release of this, really.
He wrote something, though, when there's a bunch of interviews with him, and they're like, hey, how'd this movie come out? What do you think it came out to be? What do you think about it? And he said, I wanted to make a 70s-style teen comedy that would cataclysmically fail in its initial run at the theatrical box office, but then steadily grow in popularity on DVD and cable, and eventually become a seminal cult classic enjoyed by legions of teens and young adults alike for generations to come. So yeah, I guess I achieved it.
Yeah, I'd say he nailed it.
Yeah, and then I one thing I do like in his commentary, because he's very thorough in it, I like how he talked about in those key years everything is heightened. Things that grown-ups don't see the inherent value of having enormous meaning to you. So you when you're younger, I remember when I was younger and I knew a movie, I was just a massive movie nerd, and I knew like any movie was coming out that I was excited for, it was a massive event. Like I was like, oh my gosh, it's coming out. I gotta see it. I gotta go opening weekend. I gotta be ready for it. I gotta get my seats. We gotta get there early. I think going to concerts or seeing this and something you love, and it seems so much more heightened. And I think that's why the editing and tone and world of this seems more heightened, which he did on purpose just to make it, because that's the way kids see things. I mean, at the end of the day, these are still seniors in high school, so they're still. I thought it was kind of neat. I liked how everything does seem heightened, or at least tried to seem heightened in this.
Yeah, and also to go with the coloring, the lockers in the high school that they use, they're originally blue, but they had to change them to be orange. And even in the hallways, everything was changed because that was the look of the 70s, where everything was shining and happy, and that's the kind of look that they were going for, which I loved as well.
I gotta say, my favorite moments in this movie are the little character beats that I dig. So I like in the beginning when Giuseppe, I gotta say their names here. Let's see, Giuseppe and Trip and Lex are going at each other about like their moms, but then Hawk, it's like, your mom's great. Like without her we couldn't do this, and without your mom we couldn't have done that. So, like stop going at each other. And I guess there's a deleted scene where he talks about how his mom died when he was born. So he's like, I would love to have your moms. Like that. I wish that would have stayed in. Just little character beats that made it more. That made you like these kids a little bit more, if that makes sense, rather than a priest getting stoned on mushrooms, eating pizza grossly. I would almost want. I don't know. I think that's what makes some of these movies good. You think about Dazed and Confused. I like just hanging out with those high schoolers. When you think about, let's see, what else have we talked about? We've talked about what are the Idle Hands. There's some really laid back kind of moments that allow you to get to know the characters. I almost wanted more of that. I don't know how you felt.
No, I agree with that. You like to see these little ticks that each character has. That way, it adds more authenticity to them. I really enjoyed. I thought it would have been a better choice to leave in the line that Hawk says to that lady at the bar when he says, "My mother had a heart attack while she was giving birth to me." I like having little things like that because it really does add more to them and it explains more about their characters almost. And I would have preferred to have some of those, but. At the end of the movie, I mean, if it's 3 hours, then I don't know if a 2-hour movie would have been better. It's kind of hard to judge those things, really.
I did send you a text message when I saw that it was 90 minutes long, and I was like, "This is amazing, Chris Kelly. I'm so happy right now."
But the flip side, there's 3 commentaries.
Jeez Louise.
And the most information you'll get is from Gene Simmons.
Yeah, he really pushed for this film. And this led to a lot of fights with him and the members of KISS.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So in one of Fraley's, I think, autobiography, he was mad that his daughter Monique had a scene cut. So he was saying that maybe Gene was responsible for that, but an hour and a half of stuff cut the floor. And then, let's see. And then they had a thing where he had them take out a scene where the kids meet us backstage because according to him, Ace and Peter can't act, reads another passage from Makeup to Breakup. Then he told the other producers and the director that Ace and I were like children and needed to be kept on a tight leash. So they ended up, in their autobiographies, they end up talking a lot of smack about each other over this film.
Yeah. I mean, Gene is definitely known as the businessman of the group, and he's the reason why probably anybody really. I mean, he's the first one to say that he's the reason why Kiss is the way Kiss is, and people know that. I don't know. He seems more business oriented to me, so he wants to have things down to a structure. So he recognizes the faults that all the other members have. So he wants to say these things, but I don't know if he really had, well, he would have had creative control over the cutting room floor, but I don't know if it was him directly who said, cut that scene out that has Monique in it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, an hour and a half of stuff got cut. I think if her scene was the only one that got cut, maybe.
Yeah.
90 minutes hit the floor.
Yeah, that you got a whole nother movie here, man.
Yeah, Chris said that in his book Makeup to Break Up My Life in and Out of Kiss. He said that when they started making the movie, Gene started really messing everything up. So these guys, it's I don't know, they didn't really seem that angry when they were talking, but it's interesting reading their quips from later on in their books.
How would they expect the movie to look otherwise? Like, what are you expecting? This isn't a movie about Kiss. This is a movie about Kiss fans going to see Kiss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. I just like that they were fighting later on, and so in their autobiographies, they were just talking tons of crap to each other.
I'm sure the DVD sales settled that qualm, but I mean, I remember this movie being fairly popular amongst the DVD sales and rentals, and I remember I bought the soundtrack through BMG Music. So
nice. I mean, dude, this is a stacked soundtrack. I mean, you have what, Cat Scratch Fever, almost tons of Kiss songs, like Lights Out, Jailbreak, School Days, Shout Out Loud. I mean, they got the Ramones on there, Iron Man.
It was the first time that I heard Running with the Devil.
Oh, nice.
It was the first time I heard that song, because I was not, LimeWire wasn't really a thing yet, and neither was Napster, so I couldn't really go online and look for music. You were just on the mercy of someone else having the CD, or you would go to a CD store, and hopefully the guy who was running the cash register, if he wasn't too high, would reference a couple of albums for you to look at.
And also Fox on the Run is on this one, the soundtrack.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a great song.
A bunch of Ramones. The money, that's why this movie probably cost $35 million to get the rights to a lot of these songs.
I'm sure, yeah. Oh, gosh. And not only that, but Kiss alone to get the registered trademark for that, because in the commentary, the director Adam Rifkin talks about how the name Kiss and everything about it is very hard to get, or at least to get within a reasonable price. So whenever he first read this script, which was made several years prior, he said, this is a great idea for a movie, but I don't think we'll ever be able to make it due to the trademark of Kiss. So luckily they got Gene Simmons to get on board with this.
Man, yeah, they kind of needed him to just afford this thing.
Yeah, I mean, even if you wanted to have it authentic or anything in general, I mean, a lot of this, the pinball machine is from a local Kiss fan. They put out an ad online saying Kiss movie needs props for their film, and the guy who lived in Toronto, which this movie was shot, said, "Oh, well, I have a Kiss pinball machine authentic from the 70s." And they were like, "Hot damn, bring that thing in here."
And Kiss towels that had to be worn by one of the band members.
Yeah, it had to be done by Paul Stanley. And she said, the lady said, "You can use my Kiss towels for free only on one condition, that when you're done with them, Paul Stanley rubs it on his sweaty body and you send it back to me." So they actually gave her a step further. They sent her a picture of Paul Stanley wearing the towel as a toga, and then he wiped himself with the towel, and they packaged it up, sent her the picture as proof that it was him, and then sent it back to her. So supposedly she was really happy about that.
It's an interesting thing right there, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, there's super fans, and then there's mega fans, and these people, the people who are Kiss fans are a whole nother level. I applaud that, because whatever gets you through the day, whatever you're into, I think that's awesome. As long as you're not hurting anybody, I think it's great. And if you're into Kiss because of their music, their theatrics, awesome. Nothing but positivity. And Gene Simmons talked about in the commentary that when they first started Kiss, that he wanted everything to be nothing like you've ever seen before. Where he said their very first show, which was they were opening for Blue Oyster Cult and Iggy and the Stooges, that he said that they raised their drum set up by 6 feet and they had fireballs shooting from the stage. And he said